Let's see. I got one last thing. Let's see. Well, Tesla, Master of Lightning's documentary I watched. It's about Tesla. You know.
I fucking love Tesla. Amazing.
Yeah.
Underappreciated.
I love fucking Tesla.
That's weird. He's totally dead. I don't think you could fuck him.
I'm talking about cars. I like fucking cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I get you now.
I thought you meant the band. I fucking love Tesla.
I love Tesla.
It was good because in the documentary they go pretty far into how poor he was towards the end of his life.
Yeah.
He was
died alone in a fucking hotel room or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and he had all these great ideas, and as soon as he died, military confiscated all his shit. But I mean, he was screwed. But the one thing I'll say is they were going to give the Nobel Prize to him and Edison at the same time. Edison fucked him and bullied him and threatened him. And so it's understandable why Tesla couldn't stomach getting a Nobel Prize alongside Edison. But, him refusing it just sucks because...
Makes him look like a fucking douche.
Yeah, and more people would be... I think most educated people understand how important Tesla is.
Yeah.
But I don't think everyone does.
No, if you ask somebody who's like the most important inventor of like the 20th century, half people
Eli
will say
Whitney.
Thomas Edison.
Right. But
Benjamin Franklin. Nobody's going to say Nikola Tesla.
And Tesla said, and this is back, when was this? Maybe 20s or 30s. He says, Edison may have the present, but I have the future. And he talked specifically about, what's going to happen, because we use mostly AC power. That's Tesla. We're starting to use more and more fluorescent light. That's Tesla. We're starting to use wireless energy transmission. Although he didn't perfect it, I think he could do low wattage stuff. It just you'd expend a lot of power to get it to transfer, but he could do that.
Well, they pulled his funding basically.
Yeah, remote control.
J.P. Morgan.
He invented radio. Marconi got credit for inventing a radio.
He used Nikola Tesla's patents.
20 of his patents.
Yeah.
20 of his fucking patents to invent radio.
Invent radio.
But he came up with remote control and radio control.
Radio control, yeah.
And the military was like, I don't see any future for it. And now we got drones everywhere. Anyway.
He basically made our lives today possible.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, I mean, you're talking about ask people who the most popular inventor is. Yes. I didn't know who Tesla was until about 12 years ago. Which, if you guys don't know, I was already out of school 12 years ago. It wasn't until one of my army buddies was like, "Hey, dude," he started talking about Tesla and all this crazy stuff. He talked about was it the Philadelphia experiment? I don't think Tesla was Tesla connected.
I don't know if that was.
I think it was connected, but he was talking about these different things. And he's like, Tesla this, Tesla that, Tesla did this, Tesla did that, and I started learning more about Tesla. I was like, fuck, why? Why don't they talk about Tesla at all? Like, I never heard about Tesla in school.
He was kind of an outcast. Most of these people, they say the same thing about Sir Isaac Newton, and he was some kind of he would be considered a fucking lunatic in today's society. Yeah. These people, because they're so they're wrapped up in what they want to do and in their mind that they don't care about what people think about them. Tesla didn't care about making money. He wanted to continue making his inventions and follow his science. That's all he was interested in.
Yeah, and there's a lot of naysayers out there. I took a class and I was looking through history of Edison because I wanted to touch upon Edison in a paper I was writing, and they mentioned Tesla, and there's a naysayer saying, Tesla didn't invent fluorescent tubes, he invented these things, which is the fucking precursor to the fluorescent. So there's actually still pushback on giving Tesla credit for things that he actually invented. But.
Yeah, so he didn't necessarily invent it, but he invented the things you needed to invent it. You know what I mean? It's
he did it. It's just he did it for... it's almost like he did more akin to the neon signs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's how far of a fucking leap is that to fluorescent
exactly.
light?
And his goal was never commercial.
Right.
So all these things that you know of today are all things that were used based on his technologies and stuff like that and his inventions that somebody turned into something that was commercially viable for everybody to use. That's why you know them as what they are today, not
Yeah.
because of the physics and the science that goes into it.
I think the electrical engine is his too. I think
Something similar to that.
Yeah,
He was like in the 1915 or something like that, 1920s. I think.
It was pretty early
That era.
on because he lit the World's Fair with his lights.
From Niagara Falls.
Yeah, he hooked a fucking generator up to Niagara Falls, and no one knew if it would work. Tesla's like, it's gonna work, it's fine, and everyone was like, is this gonna fucking work? But that's he came up with that electrical cycle engine. I guess that AC.
Yeah.
That first, coil engine.
Alternating current. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually related to that. These couple of Russian physicians. I think I'm trying to say physicists. Oh my god.
Okay.
They're trying to do a Kickstarter. They're trying to do a Kickstarter of Tesla's coil, like his wireless transmission of energy.
Okay. Yep.
They were saying how 160 square kilometer solar panel in the middle of a desert, something like that, would feed enough energy for the whole world's power needs. And to be able to transfer that energy efficiently would, basically you could power the whole planet on that.
Yeah.
And they want to see if they can get this done. So
Well, he was really worried about them using it as a weapon too, but he was actually against nuclear power. And when Edison came out with nuclear power, Tesla was kind of like, I don't know what they're doing, splitting the atom. There's a better way. You don't have to do this. Because he'd bring up stuff like there's plenty of, the Earth conducts energy. I mean, it's like
Iceland, they use that geothermal.
Yeah. And he had towards the end of his career, he had the death ray. So he invented a high powered weapon, but it's not hard to believe that he figured out a way to energy beam. I mean, for Christ's sake, what he was doing.
He had some kind of electromagnetic resonator that he had accidentally turned on in a hotel, and the whole building started shaking in a way that it almost collapsed.
It almost fell apart. Yeah, which is it would resonate at a level. So it's like there's a lot of stuff that is like it makes you feel like even today the gag is put on a lot of the stuff he made
totally.
up. And I don't think it's in this doc, but I believe in this doc they allude to the railgun being a precursor to his quote unquote death ray.
Yeah.
Where it's I think accelerated particles. Isn't that what it is?
Well, a railgun is like it's like a maglev train basically. It's like use magnets or electromagnetic fields to accelerate something, and they basically use a titanium dart,
right?
And it shoots it at like Mach 7 or something like that, which is some ridiculous speed.
It just goes through anything.
750 miles an hour times 7, and so it's like 4,900 miles an hour or something like that.
Yeah, so it's crazy. I mean,
that's like shooting it across the United States in less than an hour.
When he was in
I don't know
school,
if it goes that far, but
he came up with basically the electrical engine, which it was kind of like a magnet with points around it that would at 4 points, so it would propel.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "This is perpetual motion bullshit. This is invalid." And so even in school, they were like, "You know what the fuck you're talking about?"
Because it's just so outrageous that people don't understand what he's doing. That they just write it off as like it's too outrageous. It's like whatever.
Right.
It's kind of like quantum mechanics back in the day when people were like, "No, this is stupid.
This is fantasy, whatever."
This is fantasy land. Now everything we use in computers and stuff is based on this.
But he's quoted as saying basically when he saw things, like he could see them fully made and fully working, like every part, and so he could build them in his mind, and they would make. And I'm like, God damn. I mean, sounds like he had a miserable life. I'm not sure I'd want to be him, but man, it would be so nice to be.
Just cool if you had a Kickstarter. Fucking, I'd give him my money.
Yeah. I don't know. Just wish I wish I could be super smart like that. I mean, just know how to do shit like that.
That would be awesome.
But anyway.